Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I thought maybe today we could take a look at a Cook's Illustrated magazine. These are older, like 10 years old now. 2016 is it. So we've looked through a couple of these before. I don't remember which ones. But let's see if they have, maybe we'll find the one from June. Although probably they're like, okay, what do we have? This is March, April, November, December, July, August. I mean, that might be the closest we'll get. January, February, March, April, May, June of 2012. We haven't gone through this, have we? I hope not. Okay, we'll do that one. Although I gotta say, that watermelon looks pretty yummy. Looks kind of yummy. Like knocking into things. Okay. Cook's Illustrated, May, June 2012. Wow. Spiced rub grilled steaks. Our favorite quick tips. Spicy pork tacos. Bold flavors, tender pork. Perfect chicken salad. Rating hot sauces. Carrot layer cake. Okay. Childish things. This is like editorial. Notes from our readers. Troubleshooting boiled eggs. My hard-cooked eggs are sometimes underdone in the center of the yolk, even when I use your foolproof recipe. Where could I be going wrong? I feel like I always make a perfect hard-boiled egg, but I don't think about it. I don't know. I just go by sense of, I don't know how. I'm not sure. After boiling hundreds of eggs, we stand behind our method. Place eggs in a single layer in a saucepan. Check, that's what I do. Cover with cold water so that the water level measures 1 inch above the top of the eggs. Yeah, that's about what I do. And bring to boil over high heat. Yep. Remove the pan from the heat, cover, and let sit 10 minutes. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just let it sit there and bubble. Transfer the eggs to an ice bath for 5 minutes. I don't do all that. I just immediately have them under cold water so they're not too hot, and I peel them. So that's the recipe. Okay, old school ice cream. We used to have this when I was a kid. Well, even older than this, because this is electric. But you put salt in here, and then, ice with salt, with rock salt. And then there's a thing in the middle, and you put cream, sugar, and like peaches or whatever. And then there would be a crank at the top, and we'd all take turns cranking it. And it was a lot of work and so worth it. The ice cream would be the most delicious thing ever. So good. We compared 2 old-fashioned makers, one a hand-cranked model, with our favorite automatic machine. We churned vanilla ice cream in each and tasted for density and iciness. All 4 batches exhibited, that is right, it sounds funny, similar levels of iciness, but density, which depends on how much air is incorporated in the ice cream, was a different story. Because the motorized rock salt machine turned the mixing paddle faster than the other machines, it whipped in more air. We're sticking with the automatic machine. Well, I will say that if you and your friends crank it, that ice cream's going to taste so much better because it's a lot of work and you've put your love into it, and it tastes better than any other machine. Any port in a storm, garlic safety. What? You've noted in previous issues that because of the risk of botulism, garlic can't be safely stored in oil for more than 24 hours. What about in vinaigrettes made with garlic? To answer your question, we consulted Dr. Linda Harris at UC Davis Western Institute. According to Dr. Harris, homemade vinaigrettes that contain garlic don't present, I'm having trouble reading today, don't present a botulism poisoning risk because of the acid in vinegar. I was going to say that. Yeah. I don't usually put like chopped garlic in my salad dressing anymore because it's raw garlic, and if you're not careful, your breath will stink. So even though it's super good for you, I am a little papaya puzzle, freezing gnocchi, temperature shock on beer, froyo. Can leftover yogurt be successfully frozen? Holding study. They have this thing. It's like a fork, but then it's got these. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Anyway, and you put it into the roast at the top so you can cut it. That was a good cut, like this. There we go. I was using the wrong hand to cut my roast. That's kind of neat. I feel like I need this sometimes. I have a cutting board just like this, and I do cut meat like that. All right, quick tips. Slow flow for oil. A safer way to pit an avocado. They used a wine cork to get in there. I never have much problem pitting my avocado. No. Cabinet, pot rack. Bottleneck. A hard nut to crack. Pistachios. If they're not open, I treat it like a mussel or an oyster. Like if it doesn't open, it's not good. I know that's not true. Caramelized onion at the ready. Oh, I like this. So they caramelize a ton of onions and then freeze them. I can caramelize like 2 pounds of onion and have it in my fridge, and it will be gone by the end of the week. I never have to freeze it. I love caramelized onion. Chilling, 6-pack chilling. That's kind of cute. So to make this stand like that, he put in, I don't know if you can see it, that little, it's like a clip. It's like a binder clip to hold his dishes. But you have to have an old school refrigerator, I think, because almost all new refrigerators have glass shelves. Wire shelves, probably not that common. Spice drub steak on the grill. Yum. I could go for that. What? Look at this. A stay put spice rub that turns cheaper steak into choice. Score the meat. Shallow slits cut into the steak. Wait, what kind of meat are they using? Hold on. With their tender texture and big time beef flavor, pricey cuts from the middle of the steer like ribeye and T-bones need little more than salt and pepper. Try that minimalist technique on cheaper steaks from farther down the animal, such as the sirloin or the round, and you get meat that's chewy and dry. Okay. And then it says, with flavors that veer toward livery and gamey, and this probably is correct, they spelled gamey, G-A-M-Y. Now I would have thought it was G-A-M-E-Y. I don't know. Okay, so they're saying to score the meat. This helps salt, paste, and spice rub adhere to the meat and penetrate more deeply. Really? With a sirloin? Okay. All right. Apply the paste, a paste of onion and garlic powder, salt, tomato paste, and fish sauce boost beefy flavor. That is basically the recipe for A1, I think. Apply spice rub. Toasting then grinding dried chilies and spices leads to a more substantial crust with complex flavor. That sounds pretty good. Spray with oil. A light misting of oil blooms the spices on the grill and helps the rub cling to the meat. Interesting. Okay, so they're saying sirloin steak. On the steak, they put tomato paste, fish sauce, kosher salt, onion powder, garlic powder. and then the sirloin steak. That's like the wet after you score it. And then they put a spice rub with dried chilies, cumin seeds, coriander, red pepper, black peppercorns, sugar, paprika, ground cloves, and vegetable oil spray. Interesting. And then they have a ancho chili coffee rub and a spicy chipotle chili rub. All right. How long are they grilling it? For a gas grill, which is why I have. Turn all burners to high, cover, and heat grill until hot, about 15 minutes. Clean and oil the cooking grate. I've never oiled a cooking grate. I've never had a problem with that. Once it's hot enough, it's not going to stick. Seems like I would just smoke, but okay. Sprinkle half the spice rub evenly over one side. Okay, where do we? Lightly spray rub side of steak with vegetable oil about 3 seconds. Place steaks on the hotter part of the grill and cook until browned and charred, or on both sides. Register 125 degrees for medium rare, 130 for medium. 3 to 4 minutes per side. And then if it's not to where you want it, you can tint it loosely with aluminum foil for 10 minutes. I always feel like they never say enough. Like if I do 3 minutes on each side, that steak will be like so rare. I feel like they never, I don't know, maybe my grill doesn't get anywhere near as hot or something. A really good crab cake. I can make a really good crab cake. Less is more with a crab cake. Really good crab, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of breadcrumb just to hold it together. A little bit of Old Bay. What did they do? 1 pound lump crab, milk. Why are you putting milk? 1/2 cup panko breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, celery ribs. Chopped onion, I don't want all that. Garlic clove, unsalted butter, 4 ounces of shrimp. What is happening? 4 ounces of shrimp, peeled, deveined, and tails removed. 1/4 cup of heavy cream. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, hot pepper sauce, lemon juice, Old Bay seasoning. What is going on? I would call this a crab and shrimp cake, a seafood cake. Milking it. The obvious first step, figuring out what type of packaged crab meat to use. Okay, so they're kind of using, well, no, they're not. I was going to say really cheap, but this, I mean, if you have good crab meat, I don't want, I'm confused. Packaged crab meat, species aside, all crab meat is graded both by size and by the part of the crab it comes from. Yeah, you want like back fin. All right, well, that's interesting. Bind with shrimp. A puree of shrimp and cream holds the cake together without dulling the meat's delicate flavor. Interesting. I mean, okay. I'm sure it's delicious. Wow. Huh. And they say putting the milk in washes the fishiness away. Well, if you have good crab, it won't be fishy. But I guess if you're using like one of these canned situations, because look, they're $5 for a 6-ounce can. I mean, I don't know what that's made with. Crown Prince. Oh, they say can don't. Can do is Miller Select. King crab. I mean, I don't think it's actually king crab. Anyway, okay. I lived in Baltimore for a while. You get good crab there. I hardly mess with crab unless I go back, to Baltimore, Virginia. We used to go crabbing. You take chicken necks. You buy cheap chicken necks at the store and you tie a rope around them and you throw them out into the bay. And then when the rope starts to move, you like really slowly pull it up, and you can feel it tugging. And then you get a net and you scoop it and you have a crab. And then you put them in the cooler And you do that for a few hours, and then you get a ton of crab, and then you eat them. But they're messy, and you know, you have to like that kind of thing. You have to not mind getting your fingers dirty. Chinese chicken lettuce wrap. Chinese chicken. Do, 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 do. Sounds delicious. Listen. Stringy, tasteless meat can mar this easy stir-fry. Who's making stringy tea? Okay, 1 pound boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 2 teaspoons Chinese rice wine, 2 teaspoons soy sauce, sesame oil, and cornstarch. Okay. The sauce: oyster sauce, Chinese rice wine, soy sauce, sesame oil, sugar, and red pepper flakes. And then there's stir frying: celery ribs, shiitake mushroom, water chestnuts, scallions, garlic clove, and then using Bibb lettuce to wrap it. That was so popular, like in the 90s. I feel like every restaurant had lettuce wraps on their menu, like all the bars like Applebee's and Fridays. And then, of course, the chain Chinese place. What's it called? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking the name of it. Anyway, that big chain. I don't know if that place is still around. Fresh pasta without a machine. I'm not Italian, and I've tried to make pasta maybe 4 times in my life, and none of them went very well. So I either buy dried pasta, like good dried pasta, like where it looks kind of rough. That's a good pasta. Or I'll buy in the refrigerator section sometimes if I want something super fast like that. I'll buy those, but I think the good dried pasta is as good as that a lot of times. Okay. See, they're actually just cutting it and then rolling it flat. They're not using a pot, they're rolling it. And then they roll it into like, you know, so it's flat but round, and then slice it, and that makes these. I've tried this. I don't know why. It didn't work very well, but I should try again. Walnut cream sauce. That sounds kind of good. 1.5 cups of walnuts, dry white wine, heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, and fresh chives. Olive oil sauce with anchovies and parsley. Italy's ratatouille. Like its French sibling. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know how to say this. Is this going to be ciambota? Because like chow. So I'm assuming it's cham and then bata. Ciambata? How about that? Somebody from Italy. Let me know. Ciambata. Ciambotta. Boda, bada, bada. I don't know. Starts out with a slew of watery vegetables. Doesn't sound great. But the right steps create a stew that's hearty, more concentrated, and deeply satisfying. Okay. You know I love a stew. Italian vegetable stew. Basil, oregano, cloves, olive oil, red pepper flakes. That is the pastata. What is pastata? Good question. A relative of pesto. Pesto, pistu, piccata, and gremolata. Pastata is a potent garlic, herb, and olive oil puree. When stirred into ciambado or ciambata, toward the end of cooking, its grassy bite freshens the rich, earthy flavors of the stew. Okay, so that's what that is. Basil, oregano, garlic, olive oil, red pepper. Okay, the stew, you use eggplant, olive oil, onion, potato, tomato paste, water, canned tomato, zucchini, red and yellow peppers, and fresh basil. And then you add that at the end. I'm not going to lie. I wonder how good that is. I don't know. maybe. Quick Tips Hall of Fame. A reminder to reserve pasta water. Yeah. You know what I do? I just don't. I do sort of a mid-drain on my pasta. Like, I don't sit there and let it all drain through. I just dump it and then dump it out back into the sauce, like, super fast. So there's still kind of liquid left in there. But they're saying to capture it. All right, citrus reamer substitute. Kitchen tongs are a great tool to use to juice a lemon. Yeah, I remember the restaurant at Red Lobster. Some of the cooks, they weren't chefs, they were cooks, but would do that. They'd kind of go when they needed it sometimes or something. I can't think of what they would have needed it for because they don't really cook stuff there. Somebody asked me to do a video on working at Red Lobster. I worked there for 13 years, and I should. all the back. So I will one of these days. I gotta think about it a little bit, you know. It's been 20 years since I worked there. Peeling ginger with a spoon. I've done this before. Ginger is tricky. I've been buying the frozen cubed ginger because it's just a pain. Tracking dough rise. Caring for berries. Berries are prone to grow mold and rot quickly. To keep mold at bay, rinse berries in mild vinegar solution before drying them and storing them in paper towel lined airtight container. We did a test one time we washed the berries and put them in paper. We did all these different ways of storing berries that we read. Like this is how dweeby I am. I do stuff like this. And my husband's right there with me. We're like, oh, let's see. And we found that being right in their plastic container worked as well as anything. And really, once you wash them, they kind of rot quicker, I think. And these are all organic berries, by the way. Egg slicer for fruit. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I wonder how many people have these egg slicers anymore. I have one, but measuring sticky ingredients. Yeah, they show spraying it with vegetable. Yeah, that's probably smart. I never had this vegetable spray stuff, though. Keeping fresh baked bread fresh. Without preservatives, it goes stale. We found that storing bread cut side down on a cutting board works better than wrapping the loaf in paper or plastic. The crust will stay dry while the contact with the board will keep moisture inside the crumb. So they're saying don't put anything on it, just place it. I think I'd have to put a kitchen towel over it or something. Otherwise, like, how do I know a spider doesn't walk on it? Or cat hair. Makeshift bottle opener. Oh, they're using tongs again. Okay. Easy pureed garlic. Checking a gas grill fuel tank. Tell me everything. There is nothing worse than running out of fuel halfway through grilling. If your grill doesn't have a gas gauge, use this technique to estimate how much gas is left in the tank. Boil a cup of water and pour it over the side of the tank. Feel the metal with your hand. When the water has succeeded in warming the tank, it's empty. Where the tank remains cool to the touch, there is still propane inside. Wow, I did not know that. It's funny because I just had this. My Weber grill that I trash picked and fixed, it has a thing that's like, it's supposed to show you how much is in there based on the weight. But I think over the years it's gotten stiff and doesn't quite work. And so I thought I was out of propane because it wouldn't start. And when I took it off, it still felt a little heavy. And I was like, I don't know, is there propane in here? I ended up turning in the tank, getting a new tank, and I brought it home, and then it still didn't start. And I realized it was the igniter. It was kind of wet or something. And then it started working. I was like, did I just return a partially full tank? I don't know. I know it wouldn't have much in it. It was pretty light. But freezing cookie dough. No more mystery meat. Ew. Space-saving veggie prep. Organizing pot lids. They put it like a little this shelf in here to put the lids. I have one drawer that's all my pots and one drawer that's all my lids, basically. Salad to go. Vinegar fly trap. Grilled spicy pork tacos, El Pastor. I don't eat a lot of pork, like hardly any. I might get a tenderloin once in a blue moon, especially like in the fall. I'll make it with, homemade applesauce and mashed potatoes. But I don't, if pork is fresh cooked, I can eat it, but I can't stand leftover, like reheated or cold. I don't know. And just because of that, it's kind of made turn me off the pork. So I don't know if I can do this with beef. I might eat it. Look at that chili, looks delicious. Smoky spice. What do they say? Get these chilies. Guajillo chili? I don't know if that's how you say it. Water, plum tomatoes, cloves. Oh no, sorry, garlic cloves. Bay leaves, sugar, cumin, and then cloves. Boneless pork butt roast. I said butt. Lime, pineapple, vegetable oil, corn tortillas. I'm sure that's delicious, but I want somebody to make it for me. Sous vide chicken salad. Oh, I didn't really know you can sous vide in your pan. They always on Top Chef. I always watch Top Chef, and they put them in like a plastic bag that's tight, and then they put it in boiling water. But they show our easy mock sous vide method guarantees supremely tender, juicy chicken. So you put the chicken in with cold water. You heat it to 170, which is not super hot. And then you just let it sit. For how long? Huh. And then what is their classic chicken salad? Let's see how this compares to mine. I've posted a video making chicken salad, I think twice. Once with grilled chicken and once with canned chicken. But I never did this. All right. 4 boneless chicken breasts, a half cup mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, 2 celery ribs, 1 shallot, 1 tablespoon minced fresh parsley, and 1 tablespoon minced fresh tarragon. I think that I have never used tarragon. Like, I've never even seen it in stores that I recall. But when I'm at a restaurant, they have it. I always like it. So that's interesting. The other thing I'd say about this lemon juice, check your mayonnaise, because I think some mayonnaise are way more acidic, like lemony tasting. They use lemon juice a lot of times. And sometimes if your mayonnaise is kind of lemony, you might not want as much. It just depends. I think. All right, rethinking bean dip. I do like a bean dip. What do they have here? Butter bean and pea dip with mint. That sounds kind of interesting. Okay, 1 small garlic clove, a 1/4 teaspoon grated lemon zest, plus 2 tablespoons of juice. 1 cup frozen baby peas thawed and patted dry. 1 can of butter beans. I mean, our butter beans, they're just the big ones, right? I assume you can use like any white bean, I think. Okay, 2 tablespoons liquid reserved from the beans. 1 scallion, which is green onion if you go there. I mean, kind of. You can use green onion. White and light green parts cut into 1/2-inch pieces. Green parts sliced thin on a bias, which is diagonally, sideways kind of. A 1/4 cup fresh mint leaves, salt, ground coriander, pinch of cayenne, and a 1/4 cup plain Greek yogurt with extra virgin olive oil for drizzling. Interesting. And so you're putting that like in a food processor. You're going for like 10 minutes, they say, so really a long time. Add the yogurt after it's processed, and continue to process until smooth and homogeneous, about 15 seconds. Transfer to serving bowl, cover and let stand at room temperature for 30 minutes. Season with salt to taste. Sprinkle with reserved peas and scallion greens. Drizzle with oil and serve. So they put some extra peas and scallions and drizzle with oil. Interesting. And then they kind of do a recipe just like that with edamame and tarragon and cannellini beans. Pinto bean and corn dip with cilantro. So these are all sort of versions of, well, I guess not. I was going to say kind of versions of hummus, but I guess not. They're different. Beans are so great for making dips. You can make hummuses, you can make bean dips, you can make Mexican bean dips. It's like so useful. Ooh, Indian flatbread naan. Yummy. What are they using? Oh, look at this. Half cup ice water, whole milk yogurt, vegetable oil, egg yolk, flour, sugar, instant rise rapid yeast, salt, unsalted butter. I thought they were using yogurt instead of yeast, but they are actually using yeast. I love naan, man. That's delicious. Dressing up carrot cake. It's funny, I've never made a carrot cake, but if you serve me a carrot cake, I'm a chocolate girl. Okay, I love chocolate, but I will devour a really yummy, not really, it's too sweet. I can only have like 3 bites, but that cream cheese frosting on a really good moist, like super carroty carrot cake, that's yummy. I do like that. But it's got to really have carrots. I've had carrot cake where it's almost like, I don't know, carrot flavor. Like, I want carrot. Do you really need a box grater? Well, whether I need it or not, it's what I have. Although just the other day I was thinking I wanted one of these. I forget what I was doing. Oh, I know. I had a block of Parmesan, and I was kind of grating it over pasta. And I was like using my box grater because that's what I have. But I thought I need one of these for that purpose. So here's their testing graters. They highly recommend the Roselle coarse grater. Now remember, this is 20 years, or 10, 20. No, it's 13 years ago. Wow, $35. That seems like a lot. I got mine at well, mine's old, but the last one I bought was for my son for his apartment at Walmart. It was probably like $3. It works fine. They recommend Microplane's Specialty Series 4-sided box grater, $35. Quiza Pro 4-sided box grater with bonus ginger base, $30. Not recommended, all these. Wow. Okay. I mean, this looks like just a classic grater. Why? The holes on this grater are a remake of our former favorite, open in 2 directions to enable upward and downward grating. That's kind of interesting. So you can go like that instead of just like that. It's supposed to be an improvement, but they don't like it. Okay, fair enough. The best hot sauce, the hottest of the hot. Well, I'm sure this has changed because of like hot ones and stuff. There are so many hot sauces now, way more than there used to be. What do they say? Some people want their hot sauce to deliver a pleasant jolt of heat, while others want a condiment that packs tongue-searing, tear-inducing fire. For the latter camp, we mail-ordered 4 brands of the hottest hot sauces we could find. Heartbreaking Dawns, $14.98 cauterizer. That was what they picked. Okay, they highly recommend Hoi Fong Sriracha hot chili sauce. Sriracha. I'm saying that right? That's how I say it, but I could be wrong. Sometimes, I start saying something wrong, and it's not till like one of my kids goes, "What did you just say?" Frank's Red Hot. That's funny they picked that. I do like Frank's Red Hot. You mix it with melted butter and you put it on chicken with ranch or blue cheese dressing. That's not bad for a little football NFL day treat. Louisiana. I kind of like that stuff. I love Cholula. Why are they what? I like that. Cholula, whatever. Tapatio, they recommend. Texas Pete. Okay. I don't know about, it's okay. I feel like Louisiana's better. Valentina. I don't think I've ever had that. El Yucateco. I don't know if I've had that. Recommended with reservations, and they put Cholula. This just reminds me of Arizona. It used to be, when I lived in Arizona, every diner had, for your eggs, they had ketchup and they had Cholula. And a lot of people would use both. They'd mix them together. I liked Cholula. I don't know if that was a 90s thing or an Arizona thing. I'm not sure. Cholula hot sauce. Why are they? Some tasters appreciated this Mexican sauce's sweet flavor and mild smokiness, but others were unimpressed. Criticism revolved around its low salt content, which a few tasters felt rendered the sauce washed out. I'm bored, said one taster. I wonder if they tasted these all in one sitting, because I think eating one after another could kind of mess up your taste bud ability. Yeah, I think this Louisiana one, I feel like I like that one. Maybe it's because in Cincinnati and, Ohio, you go, I think this is right, when you go to Skyline Chili, if you've ever been to Cincinnati, they have a place called Skyline Chili, and their specialty is, it's like a chili that has some sort of a cinnamon in it. It's sort of like Greek, I would say. It's like, I'm sure people from Greece would say that's not Greek, but it has what in Detroit would be Greek. This is complete. I'm from Detroit. They used to have a dish, I think it was moussaka. It had a beef component in it that had like a cinnamon and maybe clove in it. That is what the chili at Skyline Chili kind of tastes like. But what Skyline does is they give you a giant plate of spaghetti, not giant, but a big plate of spaghetti. They put the chili on top, and then if you get it like 3-way or 4-way, you get a ton of this super finely grated cheese that basically doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. It's probably a mild cheddar or something, very low flavor cheese. And then raw onion on top if you want. And then at the table, they have that Louisiana, and you put that all over it, and then you eat it. And if you're like hungover or just in the mood for a big plate of delicious, it's good. Some people hate it. It just depends. All right, perfectly popped corn. I make popcorn about once a week. Heat 3 tablespoons of oil. 3 popcorn kernels. See, I don't do that. I put my oil and popcorn in all at once. And I know people say not to, but I do. When test kernels burst, remove pot from heat and add a 1/3 cup popcorn. What are they doing? Cover pot and wait 30 seconds before returning pan to heat. What? When kernels start to pop, shake pan with lid slightly ajar until popping slows to 1 to 2 seconds between pops. I've never heard of this take it off the heat method. Maybe I'll try it next time. I use just a tiny bit of oil anymore. This isn't how I used to always, but this is how I make it now. And then I put my popcorn in, and I use a silicone spatula to really coat the kernels with the little bit of oil, because I just want it to have less oil on it. Because I have a hot air popper too. I love popcorn. But sometimes I want oil on it. And I use olive oil, even though you're not supposed to use it at high heat. I do. And then I put the lid on, like with this, so no steam builds up. I turn it on high and just let it go, and then it pops. I what do you call it? Shake it. shake it every now and then to make sure it doesn't burn at the bottom. And as it starts to fill up, I dump a little out and then put it back. Dump a little more out. And then if I'm feeling really wild, I once it's done, if there's anything left in there, I take a towel, wipe it out real quick, put my butter in. You don't even have to put on the heat. The pan's so hot, the butter just goes shh, and you pour that on top. Put too much salt on it because it's yummy that way. Eat it. I love some popcorn. All right. The best way to revive leftover pizza. Place pizza on a baking sheet wrapped in foil on the bottom rack of a cold oven. Set temperature to 275 and heat for 25 minutes. Or you could just eat it cold. I kind of like it when pizzas comes out of the refrigerator cold, but you heat it up, but you lose patience, so it doesn't really get heated. So it's sort of like just warm, but still cold. That's kind of my favorite. Frothier foam. Okay. Quick brine for prettier fish. Ensuring crisp, tender bacon. Bacon cooked in water, it works. I've never tried that. I usually cook my bacon, which I don't make bacon very often at all. I don't even know when I made bacon last. Probably for a BLT or something. But I put bacon on a pan in the oven. That's how I usually cook mine. And that way it's all like, I like my bacon crispy. Very crispy. Equipment corner. Oyster knives. Microwave chip maker. What? KitchenAid 13 cup food processor with exact slice system. They say no dice. KitchenAid's updated food processor is lousy at chopping. Oh, that's bad. This is old though, remember. Dish squeegee. An electric knife sharpener. I feel like these never work. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh, that's it. We're at the end. We've got the picture with bananas. Plantain. Cavendish. I guess that's what a regular banana is, a Cavendish. I never knew that. Burro, Thai, Manzano, Red, and Baby.